And now to the articulate gentlemen from Nova Pioneer Tattoo Boys, that is Eddie and Kerry. I will start with Eddie this time round. What is this one soft skill that you think every young person should learn in a society where the job market keeps shrinking? It's getting thinner and thinner every single day. Eddie?
I'd say, from my point of view, the biggest skill that a youth, or like especially in this generation, can learn is the art of problem solving. In that, majority of us tend to look at problems as hurdles blocking the path, and they just stop at that. When they see a problem, they're like, oh, my bad, I've run into something, you stop. But necessarily, I feel like what youth need to start harnessing and start learning is the fact that problems are just possibilities waiting to be discovered. And it's not up to somebody else from outside to actually do that, but it's up to them to actively take part in bringing about change in their own current situations and livelihoods. The one thing we need to actually start seeing is the youth being more active in terms of problem solving, because we understand that a business is normally not started on the whole basis of making profit, but it's based off finding a solution to a problem. And then that solution is what actually generates revenue for you. A good example is even Old Mutual, because you guys are solving a problem and that's how you guys are able to gain revenue back. So if the youth are able to actually understand that the biggest skill they can actually do or have is the art of problem solving, then at the same majority of their livelihoods will be lifted up, and at the same time we'll see multiple communities benefiting from this. Because once you solve a problem, that means you're not only improving your livelihood, but you're improving the livelihood of the people around you. So it's this whole network, and then it creates a domino effect. In that if I see Kerry started something, I'll be like, oh, by the way, I can start something. And that's actually something that happened in our school, whereby now like Kerry created a Christian clothing brand, and I was like, oh, Kerry is actively taking part in creating something that's going to impact the society. So I was like, you know what, I need to do something. And I started something by the name Insha, whereby we normally take youth from like the slums, then we take them through a course where they're able now to understand through a whole workbook, and we bring about mentors and they're talked to. Because we understand that the reason why majority of these youth are not able to even think in this line is not because they don't want to, but it's because they're constantly being bashed from at home. In that, if I say I want to become a doctor, they're going to ask you, who in your family has become a doctor before? If I tell you I want to start a business, they're going to ask you, hey, where are you going to get the money? Somebody always finds a downside to something you're trying to promote or bring about, you understand? So I saw this as a problem, and through this whole experience and this whole thing I started, initiative, we've been able to see a total of 30 students actually actively graduate from it. And out of that, we have 2 of them also set up cybers in their areas, because that was a problem. They realized majority of the children there do not have access to the internet or access even to this information that's circulating across the web. You understand? And I feel as though that if we have more youth who are actively looking at problems as possibilities waiting to be found, then we'll actually have a better Kenya and a better Africa. Because that means I will not necessarily be coming to you wanting you to give me something, but I'll be coming to you the solution to a problem that you're facing. And that's when and only when that you'll be able to be like, actually, I have some money I can pay you to fix a problem for me. And hence we'll be able to improve not only our own livelihoods, but the livelihoods of the whole community in general.
Yeah, Eddie, you mentioned something very interesting in terms of the youth not just sitting there and watching things happening, but identifying problems and coming up with solutions, solving them, right? To you, I think problem solving is the real deal. Yeah. Now, our manager, if I can get you before I get to Kerry, what's your take on problem solving, and how do you think it is relevant in the corporate world?
I suppose what I'll start with is, if there were no problems, we wouldn't have jobs. That's basically.
So problems created jobs. Fantastic.
Yes, I mean, there's always we're trying. There's a vision we have that we're trying to drive. There's a place we're trying to get to, and to get there is never easy. There are problems you need to solve. There are trade-offs. There are people whose minds you need to win over. The world is happening on you. So on and so forth. So I think it's, as he put it so aptly, it's a very, very useful skill, especially in the corporate sector. I think I'm problem solving on a daily basis.
Wow.
Morning, I get in, problem here, problem etc.
Okay,
it is.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I hope we are not a problem.
No.
So that you can solve us. Okay. Fine, not a problem. Now, Kerry, a soft skill that you think a young person should learn?
Wow, okay. I think one thing I'd say that has helped me personally is emotional intelligence. So what that means is that the ability to be able to read the room, manage your own emotions, and be able to put yourself in other people's shoes. Because whether it's been talking to my friends or negotiating in business, or even persuading people on the debate stage, one thing I realized that people will always remember. They might forget everything else, but one thing people never forget is how you made them feel. So like for me personally in business, I said I run a Christian clothing brand. So one of the things that we sell clothes, right? We sell hoodies and stuff, and the sales looked like they were going well, yeah? But then one time Dino came and told me, who's my partner, his name is Dino, he came and told me, what if we add like a small thank you note? Just a small thank you note saying thank you for purchasing our hoodie at the end of, inside each product box, with the name of the person who bought the hoodie, just to appreciate them for putting their trust in us. So we did that, and the more we did that, you saw, because we mainly do digital marketing online, like social media, we found that our customers were doing the marketing for us, because after every time somebody bought a hoodie, they'd go and put it on their story saying, hey, these guys are so nice, they even wrote me a nice thank you note. And that made our sales increase like almost tenfold. That simple act, yeah? And what that really showed me was that people, sometimes even in business, that people prioritize businesses that actually treat them like people. Because sometimes that we forget and we treat people like numbers on a spreadsheet, or we look at people in terms of profit, but sometimes people just need to be seen as people. So even in our relationships, in whatever you do, when you're interacting with someone else, it's really important to ask yourself, how would I feel if I was in their shoes? And I think this emotional intelligence is a skill that has really helped me, even beyond all the titles and trophies. Emotional intelligence has really helped me stand out in my generation.
Wow, emotional intelligence. And now, Kerry, before I proceed to the next question, still on emotional intelligence. Now, how do you think we can, the country, the nation, Africa as a continent, can harness this in ensuring productivity in the young people in different sectors, let's say in entrepreneurship and any other areas that could be beneficial to them?
I'd say when you take the approach of putting yourself in other shoes in everything you do, I think this even goes hand in hand with problem solving, in making your solutions more people-centered. So what this could mean is, instead of asking yourself, when you want to start a business, what is the fastest way I can make a profit? Ask yourself, what is the best way I can impact the most amount of people? Because as he said, what gives people jobs are the problems, and without problems, we'd have no jobs, right? So if we take an approach of looking at the problem as the main goal of whatever business or whatever sector we're trying to get into, I feel like that would make even our solutions more people-centered and more productive as a nation. And I'd also like to acknowledge the fact that being emotionally intelligent also means understanding that not everyone would have the same opinions as you do. Because one issue we have as a continent, even as a country, is that we have this form of intolerance to other ideas. You'd find the old people, like the generation having intolerance to new ideas, the young generation having intolerance to the older generation. We even have intolerance in terms of tribes, in terms of political affiliation. But it's time that we understand that this diversity is what makes us unique.
Yes.
The fact that we're all different is what even makes our solutions better. Like the same way when you have a cake, it's not only made of flour, only eggs, it's all these ingredients coming together. Yeah. But what happens if you take away the egg, you don't have a cake anymore. So the same way we need to understand that we are different, but that difference is our power. So I think emotional intelligence, if we adopt this as a nation or even as a continent, we could see Africa becoming a superpower in the very, very close future.
Wow, that's great. Unity in diversity, and there's also power in diversity. The fact that we are different should not really stop us from becoming what we want to become, and emotional intelligence takes center stage. Eddie, have you ever failed?
Have I ever failed?
Have you ever failed in your life?
Oh my.
In any aspect, school, name it, socially, have you ever failed?
You see, for me, to be honest, I don't like the word failure because a failure is only a failure if you fail to learn, if you actually don't learn from it. But rather, I feel as though when you fail, it's not actually an L, but that L stands for lesson. And the only time you're actually going to actively learn from it is if you look at it from a point of view like, oh, right now I'm at rock bottom. This means there's only one place to go, and that's where? The sky top. And so every time where I find myself at the complete bottomless pit,
Yes.
I always ask myself, okay, what did I do wrong? How can I get better? And a good example is the fact that before joining Form 1, I used to be a stammerer. I used to stutter a lot. I wasn't as articulate as I am right now. But did I let that stop me? No. Multiple times people would say I failed speaking. But right now I am ranked the best public speaker in East Africa. But this is only because I was able to reevaluate where I'm from and reevaluate the reason why I was stuttering. And I took time and I was gracious enough with myself to understand that the only time I will be considered a failure at speaking is if I don't actively learn from it. So I learned my mode of speaking. I understood that there are some words which are actually harder to pronounce for me compared to other people. So what do? I replace them with words that mean the same thing but are easier to pronounce and are lighter on my tongue. I gave myself a bit of grace and I understood that the only time I will still be considered a stammerer is if I want to be considered a stammerer. So the biggest thing I feel as though people need to understand is that a failure is not necessarily an L, but it's rather a lesson waiting for you to look at it as a lesson. Because sometimes people normally say this quote, look at the glass half empty. But even if the glass is not half empty, look at the fact that you still have a glass at your hand, and that means you're in a position to go fill it up with water and make it full. So that means don't necessarily view a failure as you completely, absolutely not having anything, but look at it and in that you are able now to do something and to learn from what you've done before, and you're able to get in a better position, but that is only if you change your mindset. Because the biggest thing that holds people down is the whole mindset thing. Because after you feel as though you've hit rock bottom, you feel like there's nothing else to do, so you choose to stay there rather than choose to uplift yourself and learn from things around.
Wow, interesting. I've learned, we keep learning, like I said earlier, and I've learned that in the word failure, the L stands for learning.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Manager,
Yes.
have you ever failed and how did you overcome the setback? And specifically,
Yes.
in your career as working with Old Mutual, have you ever failed?
I suppose I'll answer the question in two parts.
Okay.
One, professionally, I'm a qualified actor. But that journey was tough. So I failed a couple of exams.
Oh.
trying to qualify, it was extremely humbling.
Wow.
And that you think you know everything until you fail a couple of times. Then you start learning new things on how to understand that. But what I would say, I suppose more generally about failure and in my working career, we've gotten to a point where the world is extremely uncertain, and failure has actually become a skill that you need to have. In that, you'll only learn by trying something and it fails. Then you recalibrate and you keep trying until it works. So you actually need to seek failure because that's where the answers are, and it's only in getting those answers is when you can actually solve the real problems for customers.
Wow, fantastic. I think you've really put it in a very, very simple way. And still resonating with what Eddie said earlier, that failure is an opportunity to learn and to make yourself better. Kerry, would you like to weigh in on the same? Have you ever failed? Have you ever failed in your life, and how did you overcome the setback?
This is interesting because when you said failure, we have done our mocks, and I just
Oh man.
I just remembered chemistry paper 2. I'm sorry, Mr. Antonio. But failure for me, I'd say, I think of failure as a feedback loop, where, as he said, an L is only a loss if you don't turn it into a lesson.
Wow.
And how I've taken this mindset is that I realized early on that I wanted to do big things. And the path to success is a very bumpy one. And sometimes you have to do things that take you out of your comfort zone and things that will make you stumble sometimes, but that stumbling is what helps you become stronger each time you get back up. When I fail, I used to have this mindset before that it was always the world's fault and not my fault. Where, okay, I've lost this debate round, the judge was biased. I failed this composition, he doesn't like me because I was sleeping in his class. I've done this, it's someone else's fault. But then when I started taking accountability for my own losses and realizing that, you know what, I have influence over what happens in my life, it changed because my mindset changed from why me to what's next. Where I always think of every failure as an opportunity to grow from. So, for me again, that's reiterating what they've said. I think they said very well that an L is only a loss if you don't turn it into a lesson. So whenever I see failure, I'm actually happy because that means that I still have opportunity to improve. The sky is not the limit when, if you think of failure, the sky is not the limit, but it's only the beginning. Because for me, each failure has given me an opportunity to become a better version of myself. And that's how I look at failure. Failure, honestly, is just a feedback loop for myself.
Did I say more? So panel, as we prepare to wind up this beautiful conversation, that personally I think we should just have this the whole day, because there's so many things that we need to talk about, but we still have time to do this some other time. But before we close it up, this one goes directly to the manager, Old Mutual. What's your definition of success?
I'll start off with just giving you a sense of who Old Mutual is as a business, in terms of how we define success overall is through our victory condition. And our victory condition is to be our customer's first choice to sustain, grow, and protect their prosperity. I know that's a lot of English. The way I think about it is probably best encompassed by what we call wellness. We want to be financially well. It doesn't mean you're the most wealthy person in the world, but there's certain, you can take your kids to school, you can put a roof on your head, etc. You can live a decent life. You don't have to be the richest person in the world. You are mentally well. That means you don't have too much stress. Things around you are working. You have good social relationships with friends, with family. You're well mentally, and then you're physically well. And those three, I think, really encompass what, in my view, success is. You want to be financially well, physically well, and mentally well. And then you can say,
fantastic. I like that. I like that. So and as you still on this issue of the meaning of success, do you think money is everything?
I wouldn't say it's everything, but it's important.
It's important.
In the world we live, to do certain things, you actually do need to have the resources. We wouldn't be having this conversation today if we didn't have certain resources that have brought us. We wouldn't have the depth and richness of conversation and insights in this panel without some investment going toward it. So I think it is important, but I don't think it's everything. Like I've said, wellness needs to be holistic. You're financially well, you're mentally well, you're physically well.
Interesting. So as you've heard, money is not everything, but it's important. Sometimes I've heard people say that money is not everything, but it is the only thing. But today, I've got another version of it. It's not everything, but it's very important. Now, folks, as we finish, I'm going to give each of you 30 seconds to give me your parting shot. Eddie, I'll start with you.
I'd say my parting shot is rather a word of inspiration and a word of hope to the youth and the people at large, in that you are not the leader of tomorrow, but you are the leader of today. And this means that in whatever single aspect you're in, whatever scenario, situation you're in, it is up to you to bring about change in your own life. It's not up to somebody else from outside. And it's very much possible for you to do that. The first thing you gotta do is believe in yourself and actually ask yourself, what do you want to do? And the biggest motivating factor, as I've come to learn from this conversation, should not just be based on money alone, but it should be based on what impact do you want to have? What impact on people's lives do you want to have? Because I know like the biggest thing that makes me wake up each and every single day and practice for public speaking is that I believe that I am meant to be a voice for the voiceless and hope for the hopeless. And in that, I'm able to push myself each and every single day. So if you as an individual are able to find that one thing that keeps you going and that one thing that necessarily does not allow you to sleep until you've accomplished, I feel then and only then will you be the master of your own destiny, and will you actually be the own leader or the leader of your own lifestyle.
Wow. What a better way to finish it up. Kerry.
Speaking of the last one, this is very difficult because I said very inspiring words, but I'm going to say something a bit different. One thing we should prioritize is gratitude, where many times in the pursuit of whatever it is we want, whether it be success, whether it be stability, whether it be freedom, is we forget to acknowledge what we have now. Sometimes even something as simple as you being able to walk is something that people don't really realize, and the sad thing is that most things are only appreciated once they're gone. The ability for you to even be alive today, being able, even you watching at home, or even us speaking here, that is something worth appreciating. So I'd say that even in the pursuit of whatever it is that we want as a nation or as an individual, remember to smell the flowers along the way, and remember that don't take anything for granted. Anything could go at any time, so appreciate what you have now. Appreciate your family, appreciate your friends, appreciate where you are in life. And remember to give thanks.
Manager.
I suppose what I would say is, one, let's all find our voice and use it. I think we all see and believe in the potential of this country. Let's find avenues to challenge our leaders, to make them get us to the aspirational Kenya we want. Because we all understand what that is. We all know where we're falling short, and we can do that. So let's find our voice and challenge those who shouldn't take it.
Wow. Very powerful words there. Thank you so much. As we finish up on this, I think it would be very unfair if we don't bring in the aspect of debate in this conversation, because that is part of why we are here today, to, in the culmination of the Debate Circle National Tournament, which Nova Pioneer Tattoo Boys, Eddie Francis, Kerry Amani, and Israel Tola in absentia are actually the defending champions, and they are just about to head into their room to defend their title. Eddie, if your life was a debate motion, how would it be?
If my life was a
debate motion,
how
would it read?
How would it read?
Yes.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. You put me down on the spot. So if my life was a debate motion,
yes,
I'd say it would have been, first of all, the genre of the motion, it would be a philosophical one, and it would majorly be on the whole aspect of impact and bringing about change. Because as many people might know, I am a passionate Pan-Africanist, and I always bring about impact and strive. And I think my debate motion would read something like, are you really the driver of your own destiny?
Wow.
And I would always say yes. I would always be on team proposition stating that you are the one who's in charge of taking your life wherever you desire it to be. I'd always say that you're the one who is in full control, and it's up to you to bring about change in the society and what you believe in. Yeah.
Nice. Wow. What a better way to finish it up. If your life was a debate motion, how would it be?
It's a tough question to answer amidst the best debaters in the continent.
Yes.
I suppose it would be a quirky one. Yeah. And that the question would be, what do actuaries actually do?
Ooh, wow. What do actuaries actually do? That reminds me of this phrase that used to play on our national television, especially during, December holidays. That I think is by the government through the Kenha, trying to encourage people to keep safe on the road. Arrive alive.
But I suppose also why I bring it up is, and I'm thinking about it from a debate perspective.
Yes.
So I suppose as when I started in campus, go to family meetings, at some point you actually get tired of explaining what it is that you're doing in campus and just tell them, no, I'm doing mathematics, and then leave it at that. So I mean that's by and large what it would be, just explaining to people what.
Wow. Kerry, your life was a debate motion. How would it be as we finish?
Oh, wow. I'll take inspiration from what I see behind us and say that for me to be better safe than sorry.
Better?
This house believes that you'd rather be better safe than sorry.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
So, what I mean by that is, even though this might sound pessimistic, but the best way to live life is by expecting the worst.
Wow.
Where that always be open to the fact that things might not always go your way, and that's okay. And always remember that in whatever planning that you do, you always have to take that approach of asking yourself, what if it goes this way or this way? What if I wanted it to go right and it goes left? Because the problem is sometimes when we become too optimistic is we forget that the world doesn't care the world doesn't care about you and you're not entitled to its success. You have to go out of your way to get it. So what this could mean is, again, talking about the topic of financial literacy, is that if you have a car, get insurance for it because you don't know what happens. If you have a family, get insurance for your family. If you, as an individual, have health, which I'm sure all of us do, get insurance for it because you never know what's going to happen. And the best way you can minimize the effect of these situations is by preparing for them beforehand. So for me to be better safe than sorry.
Oh, wow. Very powerful, very powerful. Now, I think, gentlemen and our viewers, wherever you're watching us from, we are very much thankful for your patience from the start of this conversation to the end. And I want to really appreciate my panelists for their insights, powerful insights, the nuggets of wisdom that we've had from Eddie Francis, the GOAT of public speaking. You've heard him saying that he's the current reigning champion in public speaking, East Africa, 4th best in Africa. We've also been privileged, this is a privilege that we've had to have our manager, Old Mutual, joining us in this conversation just to share his wisdom in his so many years of experience as a leader, and also carry money here, again, the GOAT when it comes to those tough rebuttals in debate. We are yet to go and get into room 4 and watch these two gentlemen joined by Israel Tola fighting to the last name, right?
Yes.
Ensuring that they defend their title. And from me here, I don't have much to say. It has been a very beautiful conversation here at the Debate Circle National Championships. And as your host, Mr. Onyango Otieno, or you can call me Mr. Kennedy, but I like Onyango Otieno much. That's how they call me. And like I said earlier, I'm the debate and public speaking coach at Nova Pioneer Tattoo Boys, and also the teacher of English and literature. Shout out to Old Mutual for making this happen, bringing this together, and also the entire group from Old Mutual for always believing in the ability of Nova Pioneer Tattoo Boys when it comes to leadership and matters financial literacy. Before we wrap it up, any shout out to you? Do you want to shout out anyone
Yeah.
who is watching?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my mom. I love you. I'm very grateful that you brought me into this world, and you're my biggest supporter, and you're the one person who told me I could speak, even when I used to sound like a DJ. I thank you for always believing in me. I love you, Mom. Yeah.
Any shout out?
Yeah, to my 2 sons.
Yeah.
You're going to Nova Pioneer soon.
Yeah. Interesting. So Nova Pioneer, get ready. The sons are coming. Nova Pioneer Tattoo Boys. We already have the 2 boys joining us very, very soon. I want to believe you're ready to receive them warmly as we always do. Kerry.
For me, I'll give a shout out to 2 people, the 2 parties. Shout out to my parents. You guys have been the rock behind all my debates, all my wins, all my achievements. Thank you, Mom, for being there whenever I had a problem, even when we were being shaved in school. he always listened to me and gave me that shoulder to cry on. Because my dad being the rock of wisdom that always ensured I was on the right path. And then last but not least, party I'd want to give a shout out to is shout out to that one smocha place in, I think it's near Klabu. You guys have the best smochas, man. I hope your business prospers. I'll be coming there after this debate, and I hope you keep on doing well. Thank you.
They should take insurance, yeah?
They
They should take an insurance cover.
Yeah, and of course,
They should.
talk to them about, school them.
All mutual, yeah.
All mutual.
All mutual.
Yeah,
I
and they
will,
can
I
have
will, I
some
will.
cover. Yeah, you never know. Smocha is a very lucrative business, but if not insured,
Oh my.
things can go haywire. Now,
That is
that's
true.
how we end it here at the Age Convention Center with the Old Mutual. It has been a very interesting conversation, and we look forward to many, many more of the same. Thank you, and have a very lovely afternoon. Thank you.
Perfect.